Hi everyone and welcome to your next session with Plato Training on your Business Administration course, where today we're going to be looking at customer service in business administration in office environments, and this is going to be part 1. We'll look at this again next week where we'll look at part 2. The aims and objectives of today's session are to define customer service, to identify how customer service is provided in an office and in 2 other environments, and to state why it is important to be a professional. So what does the term customer service mean? For this, I'd like you to think back to the live session from this morning and think about what customer service means and what you discussed during your group task. If you were unable to attend today's live session, please instead research the term customer service definition, and I'd like you to make sure that you find a definition that you both understand and are in agreement with. Ensure that you do understand the definition that you've found, because if you don't understand it, the likelihood is it's not going to be very easy for you to then put into your own words when you're writing it up into your question 1. So in terms of customer service, there are various definitions. I have 2 here on my screen. The first one says the assistance and advice provided by a company to those people who buy or use its products or services. So let's have a look at this definition in a bit more detail. So when you're working in an office environment in business administration, you are providing assistance and advice as part of a company. You're providing that assistance and advice to customers, and those customers are the people who will buy either products or use products from that company, or it could be a service. So a product is something physical that you can hold, a service is something you can use, like a web development company, a cleaning company, things like that. So that definition, the first one, does really relate to customer service in an office environment. Let's look at number 2. Customer service is the act of taking care of the customer's needs by providing and delivering professional, helpful, high quality service. So let's look at this one in more detail. So when you're working in an office in business administration, you will be delivering customer service, which will be taking care of your customers' needs. You're going to ensure that you meet those needs by being professional, by being helpful, and by giving a high quality service. So although this one doesn't tell you about products and services, and it does still look at customers, and it's still relatable to an office environment. So for question 1, I would like you to state a definition of customer service. I would like you to write this in your own words, don't just copy. You must use full sentences and develop a statement of a minimum of 2 sentences. Please pause this video whilst you complete that question. So customer service in an office environment. What activities do we do in an office that relate to customer service? Well, there's lots. So firstly, you're going to have customer contact. This will be via the phone, where you're making and receiving calls. This could be via email, where you're sending and replying to emails. It could be via web chat or social media. You'll be welcoming visitors into the building, giving them visitor badges, asking them to sign in, asking them the reason for their visit today, and ensuring they sign out at the end. You'll be sharing your product knowledge, whether you're sharing knowledge of a product or a service, you'll still be sharing that knowledge. You'll be answering any queries that customers may have, and you'll be passing calls on to the relevant person. These are all activities that are related to customer service in an office environment. I'd like to share with you here a poor customer service experience that I had. So I was a customer with E.ON, the electricity and gas supplier. I moved into a house in July. It was 2015. It was July, so it was summer. I got my first bill in September and it was for over £800. So I'd lived there for 2 months. We moved on the 25th of July. 2 months and it was £800. It was ridiculous. So I rang the call centre multiple times and I was getting nowhere. The call centre absolutely refused to listen and acknowledge the issue that I had. They said that they don't judge the way that customers use their electricity and gas. After calling many, many times, I was just getting nowhere. I was really struggling to escalate the problem. Every time I asked to speak to a supervisor, I was told there was nobody available, and if they were available, they would tell me the same thing, that the staff in the call centre are not paid to recognise how customers use their gas and electric. Eventually, I did manage to speak to a manager, and she agreed that it was ridiculous that it had not been passed to her, or it had not been passed on to her sooner, because the amount of electricity and gas we were being charged was roughly about a year's worth that had been billed in just 2 months. In the end, there was no charge for this electric and gas. It turned out that the previous tenant of the house had given false readings, which had meant that the bill that we had been given was actually being charged back to her. It took over 3 months to resolve this, and it was multiple phone calls for hours per week. As a result of this, I would never use them again as my electricity and gas provider. Last year, when I changed my electricity and gas supplier to try and get a cheaper deal, E.ON were the cheapest, and I'd rather pay £10 more a year because I value my time more than that company were helpful. It was just too long to get the item resolved. So, customer service in an office environment. Why is it a good thing to have good customer service during all of your activities? So, customers might recommend a good service to their family and friends, or they may not, because it might be the opposite. They might be very quick to share poor customer service, and that'll be really bad for the company's reputation. If you think of places like online, like TripAdvisor, where although it's hotels, the reviews that get left for the sake of a minor problem, people give them 1 star out of 5 for the sake of having, I don't know, no biscuits in the room or something. People are really, really harsh on reviews when it comes to poor customer service. So it's so important that you do deliver good customer service so that you're not going to get that negativity for the company. Customers will appreciate a level of customer service. They'll return and use the company's services or buy products from there again. And they could leave a positive review of that experience online, fingers crossed. So for question 2, I would like you to state why customer service is important when working in an office environment in business administration. So do ensure that you're using full sentences and develop a statement of a minimum of 2 sentences for this answer. And think about things like profits as well. Don't just stick to the items that I talked about on the previous slide, because obviously if customers are returning, if they're recommending people to use the business, then that's going to elevate the profit levels as well. Please pause this video while you answer this question. We're now going to look at customer service in different environments. So how do different organisations provide customer service? So in an office, we've already looked at the ways that offices can undertake customer service activities. So making and receiving calls, replying to emails, welcoming visitors, sharing their knowledge and answering questions, passing those calls to the relevant person. All of these are customer service activities. So when you are writing about these activities, I'd like you to try and expand on those points. So let's take welcoming visitors, for example. Don't just write welcoming visitors. Tell me a little bit more about that to identify. So you could say welcoming visitors, asking a visitor to sign in and giving them a visitor's badge, and then ensuring they sign out and hand the badge back when they are ready to leave. What about other environments? There's customer service everywhere. So we've got on this list hairdressers, shops, cinema workers, the post office. Let's have a look at these in a little more detail. So in a hairdresser's, customer service is key because the hairdresser needs to ask, how do people want their hair cut? How would they like it to be coloured? What do they want the style to be like? They could ask them about their day and their week and their job as a bit of small talk, and then they're going to take payment. In shops, there's greeting customers, showing customers where the products are kept, making sure that stock is rotated so no items pass the sell-by dates, and they'll be taking payments as well. In a cinema, cinema workers are there to inform customers of the times of films and when new releases are out. They can sell other items like popcorn and drinks. They can direct customers to their screens. They're going to make sure it's a clean and comfortable experience by having a quick whip around after each film. And in the post office do a lot more than we give them credit for. So in the post office, they're meeting and greeting customers. Of course, they sell stamps and envelopes, but they also have information on products like banking, savings, holiday insurance, car insurance, premium bonds. There's passport check services. They can give out driving license forms. There really is a wealth of administration tasks in working in a post office. So for question 3, I would like you to identify the ways that different organisations provide customer service, and you're going to have a look at office environments, business administrators, shops with shelf stackers, and hair salons with hairdressers. So because this is identify, you need to introduce your topic and then give the main points. So I've given you an example in green here. So customer service in a zoo is provided by meeting customers, answering questions, selling tickets, and informing them when the animal interactive sessions are and providing directions. Please pause this video whilst you complete this question. Professionalism. So what does professionalism mean? I would like you to think back to your breakout room activity that you completed during today's live session with your group. If you didn't attend today's live session, then please instead research the term professionalism at work. So for question 4, I would like you to answer, what does the term professionalism mean? Please make sure you write your answer using sentences. So why is professionalism important when you work in an office? So there's a few different reasons here. We've got to meet the customer expectations. A professional image is important, so dressing appropriately. You've got to get the trust of those customers, the respect of the customers, and there's also health and safety limitations here as well. So let's have a look at these in a little more detail. So customer expectations. So you need to have positive behaviours as part of the professional image and attitude. You need a good, approachable attitude to meet those customer expectations. You need to have the professional image in terms of your dress sense, so you need to dress appropriately because this will make you identifiable as a member of staff. The trust of customers. So customers need confidence when staff are handling their personal information. You could be taking card details, bank details, you could be processing invoices. Those customers need to trust that you are a professional in your role. Respect. So professionalism really shows that you are respecting your employer and the workplace that you are in. If you are being unprofessional in the workplace, you are possibly not going to meet the expectations of your employer unless it's a very informal place to work, because they would usually expect professionalism. In terms of health and safety, you are paid to be professional. You're not paid to mess around and put others at risk. Sometimes you might see on sort of comedy sketches on TV and things that people might do sort of races on swivelly chairs and with the wheeled chairs through the office and things like that. And obviously that does become a health and safety implication, because if you are messing around, you're putting yourself and others at risk. If you're going off sick for 6 weeks for breaking your leg by messing around on a chair, you're going to be stuck on statutory sick pay, which doesn't pay much in the grand scheme of things. So for question 5, I would like you to state the importance of professionalism when delivering customer service to customers. You must use full sentences and develop a statement of a minimum of 2 sentences. Please pause this video whilst you complete the question. That is the end of today's session, so I would like you to complete your learning activity log, and as it's the end of the week, I'd like you to get that sent over to me if you haven't already been doing that each day. So you're going to have today's date, your learning aim is customer service, the activities and what I learned. So we looked at customer service in an office, and today I have learned, you tell me. And then the next session that we're looking at is customer service in business administration part 2. Your next session date is next Tuesday. So you should now have achieved the aims and objectives of today's session, which were to identify how customer service is provided in an office and 2 other environments, to define customer service, and to state why it is important to be professional.